Hello, welcome to another Q&A for the San Francisco Independent Short Film Festival 2025. We have a great turnout of filmmakers for the program Relationships. Hey, filmmakers.
Hey,
Hey.
Hi.
Wow, what a turnout. Great to have you all here. Real quick, let's just go around the room very fast. Tell me your name, the film you're associated with, and your role in the film. And I'll call you out. Evan, if you'd be so kind as to go first.
Sure. I'm Evan Watkins. I'm a actor, writer, and co-producer of The Vanity.
Right on. Good to have you. Zoe, do you
Thank you.
mind going next?
I'm Zoe Sidwell. I'm the director and producer of Travel Plans.
Excellent. Welcome. Hey, John, you're next on my screen.
Hi, yeah, my name's Johnny, and I wrote and directed the short Remember the Sabbath for me.
Cool. Welcome. Miho, please, next.
Hi, my name is Miho Saito, and I was the lead actress in The Tourist.
Right on. Good to have you here. Daniel, would you go next, please?
Hi, I'm Daniel Piñeros, and I directed and wrote the short film called Don't Watch This.
Go watch this.
Don't Watch This.
Don't watch this. That's right. Now I remember. Pretty interesting film. Jeffrey, next, please.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Berman, and I wrote and directed I Am Romance.
Excellent. Good to have you here. Peter, please.
Yes, I'm Peter Zerzan. I directed, co-wrote, and co-produced The Tourist.
And last but not least, Dario, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dario, and I'm the composer for Will You?
Oh, a composer in the house. Right on. Where's the director filmmaker?
I thought he was supposed to be in here, but I
We'll
guess
let him in if he joins
he's
us.
not.
So most of these questions will kind of be overview, conversational, general, Dario. So chime in when it's appropriate. Evan, I'll start with you. Why'd you make this film?
Sure. Why did I make The Vanity? Well, my wife and I both live in Los Angeles. We've been working in the entertainment industry-ish, at least on the periphery, for the past 10 to 15 years. And like many creative people, we have a lot of anxiety about AI taking over work. Also, what it means to try and like make your name in the entertainment business, which increasingly seems to become like selling yourself as yourself on Instagram or TikTok, which has pretty much zero interest to me or my wife. So it was sort of this, how can we make a horror movie around these like two people that are in an economically unstable situation where they have to like pimp themselves out, like a lot of people do online, and then even that is in jeopardy of being taken over and swept away from them. Combine that with all the sort of internal traumas of the characters and the device that they're using to sort of get their souls out there, and that's where the concept came from.
We're getting more and more shorts that are covering kind of the technology or social media or cell phones meeting relationships. I mean, I think one day we'll have a program just based on that. And
Yeah.
speaking of Jeffrey, your film, talk about it. Why did you make it?
Why does anybody make the films? I made it because I wanted to see it on the screen. But what inspired it is, and if you don't know the film I Am Romance, just in a sense, it's about two people who meet through text messages, IM messages, instant messages, and build a relationship and fall in love. And it was spawned from my wife and I being out to dinner one night, and I happened to look up and look around the restaurant, and virtually everyone at all the tables their faces were in their phones. None of them were conversing, and it was just so odd to see everyone looking down at their phones, sitting across from each other rather than carrying on conversations. And that just put the idea in my head, and I loved the idea. I wanted to make it one day.
Right on, right on. Yes, enjoyed your film. TJ, talk about your film. Why did you make it? Speaking of phones, there are no phones in your film, as far as I remember.
Uh, no, they're not. Yeah, I remember because I was, yeah.
Which I like. I like that is very very kind of just simple, if you will. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to execute something. I wanted to shoot something love and relationships, just on my corner, just get a group of people together, creatives and living in an urban city, I had a lot of different relationships and as it turns into memory as well. I've lived in a lot of different areas, and you know how years later you're walking by and you kind of have this kind of vision, you know, your memory kind of brings these vivid memories up. And I've always liked that in urban areas, and just watching the day go by and watching these little interactions. So it's very observational, the film, you know, you always see people chatting or they're arguing, and you can't really hear what they're saying from afar, but you're watching, it's entertaining. And so that's what I you know, kind of inspired it to shoot, and you know, but it felt like it was good, but there had to be something else to kind of maximize it as a short, and I had that slow zoom. But what's motivating that, you know? And I was like, well, maybe it's him, you know? And so that's where that kind of eureka,
Ah,
oh, okay, you know, that can be like a turn. And then that's that kind of tied in with the memory, you
right,
know, and I always like that in
right on.
cities.
Yes,
Yeah,
enjoyed the film a lot.
yeah.
Zoe, how about you? Why'd you make your movie? What inspired it? And talk about conversation, kind of a twist there.
Yeah. I wanted to try directing. This is my first film, and I wanted something contained. So I needed something in a single location that I can afford to shoot. And I like things with a twist. I like it when I'm surprised. You know, most films, you kind of know where they're going, and I like it more when I'm surprised. And that script, when I
So,
read it, spoke to me for that reason.
so did you write the script?
I did not. I looked at
So
several
you wanted to
scripts.
make a short film to make your first film,
Correct.
and then you found the script that worked
Exactly.
for the parameters, like to make a contained script in the car only, right? For the most part.
It didn't have to be a car, but it wound up being a car. Yeah, I just wanted a single location because it's, you know, my first one. I just wanted to, you know, it's like training wheels essentially. So
Yeah.
I thought that would be a good way to start it off, and it was a lot of fun.
And was this in hopes of like going further and making longer shorts or making a feature film down the road?
Yes, I wanted to see one if I had any aptitude for it, if I liked it, if I enjoyed the process. It was yes to all. Like I really enjoyed the process more than I thought I would. And so yes, I will be directing another longer short with multiple locations
Cool.
next year.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll add to this question too for the other people here. Not just why you made the film, but maybe also why a short, if you want to address that question. Miho, why did you make your film?
I didn't make it. I was in it. So I don't
Oh,
know.
oh, I'm sorry. That's right. You're the actress.
Yes.
So why'd you participate in it?
No, I really resonated with the story, especially because it's so far and few between that there's stories made for Japanese actors that's, you know, as a lead or that's the central storyline. And I think what I really loved about the story too was that I found a lot of resonance in my own personal past, that I understood this character in a way that maybe somebody would not have. You know, she leaves her career for love. So, and I think just like the why is always important to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A very noble pursuit, if not practical, and not a practical one, but you know, to pursue love. I agree. I think, you know, romantic.
And
Yeah.
right.
John, how about you? Why'd you make your movie?
Well, they say, I mean, I also just wanted to make something very practical to make. So I thought also like one location, something, and then something in my neighborhood. And they also say, you know, you write what you know. And you know, I've been those people that walk into the corner shop at 6 in the morning looking for a beer at the end of a night, and it was more of a skit when I wrote it, just as kind of a joke, and then started thinking about making something, and tried to make it a bit more complicated and made it a little more made it less of a comedy, like a straight comedy, and tried to add some more
There's moments of humor that are in there that seep in there, and but you know, amongst the seriousness of the drama. So that
right. I tried to make it a bit more where there's some complexity to the different roles rather than just be like two bros that are like high at the end of the night, like stumbling in. The joke originally was just that they were high, and like like that was kind of the joke, is that then they like have to take over and act like they're the ones behind the counter, and then, you know, like trying to figure stuff out. But anyway, so I changed it in a bit, yeah,
and
to make it a bit more serious.
Oh yeah, right on. Peter, how about you? The Tourist.
Yeah, it started out. Last year my son was born, and I had a lot of free time, taking care of him. I was like just thinking of ideas and trying to come up with stuff. And I remembered a story back when I was in Vietnam in 2019 on a place called Phu Quoc Island. It was a resort, and I was talking to the Italian gentleman who ran the resort, and he told me a story about a Japanese businesswoman who had come to the island, got really drunk one night, and then the next morning she was so embarrassed she apologized by giving a big tip. And I just sort of decided to run from that there. So I was thinking of I've already been to Vietnam, I've been to Cambodia. What other places could I go? I felt if it was like Bali or Thailand, it would be a little too cliche. You can't film in Myanmar for obvious reasons; they're having a civil war. And so I remembered a trip that I had to Portugal, where I went to an Indian restaurant and they had beef and pork on the menu, which is very odd if you go to an Indian restaurant here or anywhere else because of religious reasons, and that there was a Portuguese colony called Goa, which now is part of India. And so I thought, well, yeah, what if we set it in Goa? And so, I have those two stories, and then I was thinking, okay, well, what would be like the most boring possible place to go? And I thought, oh, well, it would be like a crypto conference. And so that's, where I started with all three of those things. And so I wrote a rough draft of a story, and I wasn't really happy with it. And my previous shorts, I was the writer director. I was like the complete hyphen. And I realized this time I wanted to bring on a professional writer. So I brought on Melissa, who I actually met at an event with my son. And she's a mother, and she was a writer. And so we exchanged information, and then we began to co-write the story, and it was amazing. And then through a casting agent who I had previously worked with, Sarah, that's how I met Miho, and she brought a lot to the character there. And so, yeah, it sort of started out just as like a little idea, and then, really working with a lot of other people to fully form the vision. Melissa, Miho, my cinematographer, Sean, he really came up with the images. Safdar, who was our Indian producer, he got all these locations. It was amazing. We
How
got
long
this.
was the process? How long did it take you to make the movie?
It took about 6, 8 months.
Oh, okay. Sounds like it would have taken longer. Right
Yeah.
on. Very good. And then how about you, Danny? Don't watch this. Why'd you make your movie? How'd it come about?
I was at a stage of my career where I wanted to do something that would prepare me more for a movie. And up until this point, I had only done short films that were like 5 minutes to 7 minutes long, one shooting day, and I wanted something a little bit more complex. And as I was thinking about ideas, I thought, what if there's this woman who knows she's a character in a movie? She's the only one that knows this. So everybody around her thinks she's crazy when she's the only one that knows this. And this made me
Yeah,
fall in love with the idea.
pretty clever, pretty creative. But how'd you get inspired for that idea to like break the fourth wall and have her look at the camera? Where did that come
Yeah, I
from?
don't know, I was just thinking about it, and I imagine, well, what if she sees a camera and knows someone is watching her? And then I fell in love with the idea because I realized it could potentially be immersive for the audience to feel like they're a character. So I wanted to play a lot with that, and every time I thought about how to make it immersive, I could only come up with like technical ideas, like make it 3D or things that I don't even know how to do. So coming up with a story that hopefully makes the audience feel uncomfortable and as a character made me feel really passionate to get this going.
Right on. Yeah, enjoyable film. That was pretty clever. Hey, Dario, since you're on here, how'd you get involved with your film, Will You? Since you're the representative of Will You, and why did you say yes as a composer? What drew you to the project?
Well, Justin is a college friend, and he asked me if I could write the music, because I had done some other stuff with some other people in college, and on some short films, and I guess he liked my music, and he's been to some of my shows and things. So he asked me if I could write the music for his proposal video. So he was proposing to his longtime girlfriend, and he's like, "I'm making an animated short because I think it'd be really cute to, propose to her in a movie theater and like, surprise her." And he's like, "Do you want to write the music?" And I said, "Sure, I'll do that." And so he started sending me songs where he wanted it to sound like. And I was like, I can
No,
do
no
that.
pressure. I mean, if, you know, if the music wasn't right, and she says no.
I know. But it all went out, it turned out well. She said yes, of course.
Right.
And so it was just a fun process, wasn't too stressful. Just like a nice, he wanted more like a kind of like a pop song, but still accentuating the action in the film. So
Right.
I decided to go without voice, so more of just like music and let the visuals kind of lead. So
Sure, right on. Excellent. Good job. So, hey, actor Miho, how was Peter as your collaborator director? You did a great performance. How was the relationship on set? How was that working situation?
It was great. He gave us a lot of freedom as actors, which was really nice because I think he trusted us and the work that we did prior, and I think our advantage, or at least my advantage, I can't speak for the other actor, but it was that we were on location in Goa. Oftentimes like you have to pretend that like you're somewhere else, but it's such a different experience actually being immersed in the culture, such as Goa, India, being there. So it really made my job easier, I think. Despite battling jet lag and culture shock, and just the overwhelm of being in a different country of that sort. But it was wonderful just working with
Yeah,
him. And it felt
yeah,
like,
nice perk. Peter, I want to look at your movies, man. Go on location in nice exotic lands. Uh, so talk about the director acting kind of relationship a little bit on your film, Zoe, because of the strangeness of the script, if you will. How'd it go?
That's a nice way of putting it, by the way, the strangeness of the script. Thanks. So when I was soliciting scripts, I basically reached out to my network and I got in touch with Krista, and she's the one who plays the bride. So because she was also the writer and she worked with me on refining it. It made it easier. And when I asked her if she knew anybody, there has to be a certain physical resemblance for the storylines. I'm not giving it away, right? This Q&A comes after people have seen it. All right,
Right,
cool. So
right.
we know she has to be, to look like siblings. And she recommended Jared. And because I come from an acting background, I think my goal, both during rehearsal and during on set, was just to do what I would have wanted and what I want as an actor, which is just freedom to suck, and freedom to explore, just
Yeah.
to try a bunch of things. And because we had a limited page count and we had the time, we had the privilege of just trying a bunch of stuff. And so it made for a nice little cozy set. And I actually knew Ben, the guy who plays the husband, which is Sean Michael Boozer, for years, and I didn't know that Krista knew him as well. So it wound up being just this. Everybody kind of had a connection, and it was
Nice. That helps.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Evan, what about you? Actor and director in other roles too,
Well,
right?
yeah, I was the actor writer. My wife was the director and
Uh,
actor,
are you guys still
and
together?
yeah, but it was definitely challenging because as the writer, there were things where we were shooting and I would like she would be focused on trying to direct, and there's a million things going on. But at a certain point we had a crew of like 40 people because we were shooting in a studio for the Vanity set was actually a built set. Um, and she'd be stressed out about something. I'd be like, "Hey, make sure we get this thing because it's really important for the story." And she's like, "I got it," So we would things got a little tense. When you're married, things can be like that. But
Yeah.
I was very impressed with how well she pulled it off under pressure with that many amount of people running around asking her questions at every moment.
Uh,
But
and,
it was a challenge.
and if you survive, it only makes you guys are probably stronger, right? If you got through the
Uh,
process.
yeah, and then it was like, oh, now we're in post and it's all over again. But
Yeah.
luckily, I'm an editor too. But luckily, I didn't edit this. I was like, we need somebody a third opinion to come in and
Yeah.
tell us when to cut our faces.
But and that inspires me for the next question for some of the other people. What's a kind of a memory, your favorite moment, an anecdote, behind the scenes or the making of, anything special you want to share? TJ, what's a kind of a behind the scenes or a making of or an
Yeah,
episode,
I think
favorite
just the
moment?
rehearsals were, yeah, coming,
Oh,
because that's what's like kind of like, okay, this is going to happen. It's going to work, because it was kind of like an experiment, it's like what is it, 3 minute, the first scene, there's only two scenes, but the first is like kind of a long take, 3 minutes, and it's like curating this, and it's like, wondering, because that's with actors too, collaborating, if we wanted it to be, improvised or writing, and then actually the take I chopped some lines off to make it a little faster. So just blocking it and everything, it was a little, like you stop here, you come out, and because it's kind of a dance with everything. So I think that was
Never
kind of
hear
like,
directors, filmmakers say, rehearsal was my favorite part, or I enjoyed
yeah,
rehearsal.
no, yeah, it was good. Like I think, because that's the thing is like trying to do that on the day, and then, and like because we wanted to kind of get in and get out, and like if we get kicked out or whatnot. But so that was kind of, yeah, rehearsal was like a good memory of like
Cool, right on.
kind of like, okay, yeah, this is gonna work. This is gonna be
Right
great.
on. That's a good thing. Jeffrey, how about you? Any kind of memory you want to share? Highlight, anecdote?
One of the things I've learned long ago is to trust my crew, and I take all opinions. I'm very collaborative on set, and I've came up through the ranks, so I believe in listening to what they have to say. There's a moment. We had a 2 day shoot. We had several locations, 2 days, and it was rushed. I didn't get every shot that I wanted, which I think every director understands that feeling. But I remember in the middle of the second day, my director of photography, Daryl, who's a great director, great cinematographer, wanted to grab a shot of just a coat lying on the back of the chair. And I had so many shots that I had to get by the end of the day. I was basically, I don't really care about that shot. I need to move on to the next one. And he was like, no, you need this shot. And when I saw the final film composed, I had to admit, and I went to him and I thanked him and I said, you were right. We needed the shot, and we got the shot. And I appreciated him for that.
Right on. Yeah, you like collaborators, teammates like that.
Very collaborative. I always listen to the people. There's a reason you hire them, is that they do good work, and you have to learn to trust them. If they have an opinion, if they have something they want to offer, I may not always take it, but I certainly listen to it, and I encourage
Well,
everyone to
and he
speak.
has the best interest of the final project in mind, as opposed to his ego or something like that. And was hoping there was some kind of tidbits that were kind of, behind the scenes drama. But usually, you want people that you like to work with. So that's a good thing.
I always have a happy crew. There's never been any drama on any of my
Yeah,
sets.
yeah,
So I'm
that's
lucky.
good. We want to hear that, but I'm hoping occasionally there'll be a nice little riff behind the scenes you can share. Anyways, around the room, John, what's a favorite memory of your process? Your
Well, it's kind of, I have two, and they're both brief. But one was just the memory that I think of is one that inspired this character in the movie, it was, I was at a party during when the Corona lockdown was happening, and you weren't allowed to have that many people in an apartment, and the neighbors started banging on the roof below us, and then I remember this one guy going like, the cops have to come 3 times before they can actually like arrest you or something like that, and it was just that's the first thing I thought of when you said a memory, because it was what inspired me about this character, was like this attitude of like being and this guy was also like he was like a foreigner living in Germany, and I was like, the idea to like live in another country and be like, I know my rights, while there's like somebody banging on the ceiling, just begging you to be quiet. So I just that was like something that made me think of. But then a memory from set, that I remember, was when the camera assistant, the guy pulling the focus, was he told me afterwards he hadn't read the script, and he actually was like started laughing during the take, and I was like, okay, so maybe this is a kind of funny film. So I was happy I was getting a direct response on set.
funny. That's great. Others who has a funny anecdote they want to share?
I got one.
Go for it.
There was a shot in the movie where I was supposed to fall backwards in sort of a void of darkness, and they wanted this slow motion shot of me literally from the side, like perfectly flat, falling top to bottom. And there was such a stink about, we need to get him enough padding to fall. And we tried to find these pads like from a rock climbing gym, and then that was hard to get a hold of because it was all very last minute. And the producers were super paranoid. They were like, we got to get enough padding. We don't want him injuring himself. So anyway, I do like 3 or 4 takes of falling backwards. Like there's padding, but it's not that many. My back is sore for like a month after that.
Oh, wow.
That's fine. I mean, I was like, I'm a producer. I'm just gonna fall. I'm an actor. I don't give a damn. It's fine. It was my decision. And then the ironic thing is like, we didn't even use the shot in the movie. It didn't even like, we don't need it. So it's like, oh my God. We used it in the trailer, but it's one of those like,
good. That's good. Yeah,
but it was just very funny. There was so much thought put into the padding, and of course, didn't even need to get the shot.
Isn't that the case?
That was funny, yeah.
Appreciate your dedication and sacrifice for the arts, for filming.
Of course. You put your body on the line. Yeah.
Danny, how about you? What's your favorite moment? You got a good memory or not?
Yeah, I have a memory, and I think it was a huge learning experience, which is I want to talk about how the film transformed a lot from when I wrote it to how it was done, because I wrote it to the music from Succession, the TV show, and I always saw it as a drama, and it came to me as a drama. And what I learned is to do better research when it comes to finding movies that tonally represent what I want to make, because to me it was a drama. And then I was preparing to shoot, I started to realize it was more of a psychological thriller. So when I started editing it, I was getting inspired by things like Black Swan, but it just wasn't working. And in the editing process, it kind of transferred into more horror, because when I added the horror element, I felt it really generated emotions. So it was just interesting to see this transformation that went through like 3 different genres to the final form. And I think it's just a huge learning experience to do a better job at finding something that I resonate with tonally before I even start shooting.
Yeah, it's fascinating too. It's amazing how movies can kind of become their own living thing and tell you what they want to be. You know what I mean? Or they come to be because they want to be created and born. That's a fascinating thing. Peter, favorite memory?
Yeah, it was the scene where Miho and Mathieu are on the moped, and when I wrote the scene, it was just sort of like a throwaway scene when we were storyboarding. We put a few things in there. But then when it came time to film, it was Miho and Mathieu. Mathieu's driving the moped, Miho's holding him, and we're in the Indian countryside, and it's just in a van. Me, Sean, my cinematographer, Varun, my assistant director, and the driver. And it's just us following them in the countryside, no permits, no anything like that, just filming right there. And, I'm in the back of this, van yelling, oh, hey, great with the arms. Put the arms up again, Miho. Oh, kiss him on the neck. Oh, do this, so that. And, trying to make sure that I can be heard over all the traffic.
Yeah.
But it was just, it was not something that we were preparing for, but it was probably the funnest experience shooting. And it was just, that's the shot we use on the poster.
And a production still of that. Nice to be.
Yeah.
I wish you had a production still of that or something.
Well, that was the problem, is we didn't bring our BTS photographer with us, because we weren't really thinking it was going to be that big of a thing. And then it turned out to be this huge moment. And it was just, I can't speak to Miho. It might have been terrifying for her being, holding on to.
Let's ask Miho, how was that? And what was a memorable moment? Was that a scary moment?
It was not scary at all. It was so fun. But it's just funny because if you were to have done that here in the States with the permits, like Peter said, like that would not at all be a reality. So I thought that was such a cool experience to have been able to do shots that maybe wouldn't fly here, But
Well, look at Evan saying that the producers were concerned about safety, but for a good reason, and you had to spend days hours getting the right foam padding. In America,
the producers in India being like, "Let's just go, let's just roll."
That's right. Just go ahead and do it yourself. Dario, how about you? Got a memorable moment?
Yeah, I think for us it was more of like the editing process, because we would get on a call and we would be listening to the music going along with the track, and he doesn't know a lot of music theory or things like that, so him just singing something to me and being like, can you add something like this, or can you do something like that and change this a little bit in this way? So it's just kind of fun to hear his ideas on the music and how he wanted it to go, and being able to just kind of do it immediately from just what he said and what he sang and things like that.
And there has to, I can't speak for you, but there has to be some sort of pleasure, satisfaction when the music gets married to the image and it's working. It's just like it's even more than what you started with.
Exactly, and
It
it's
takes us
it's a
reward.
good feeling when he's like, "That's it." He's
Yeah.
like, "That's the one." He's like, "That's what I wanted." So,
Nice. Good.
trying to
Look,
fulfill
hey,
his
Dario,
vision.
since I'm on you, we have time for one more. Is there anything, I'll ask everybody around the room, anything else you want to ask that we haven't talked about that you want to share? Last chance to give a little shout out or whatever. Dario, I'll start with you since I'm on you.
Yeah, I just want to, since he's not here, I just want to shout out Justin and tell him that he's an incredible, not only animator, but like storyteller, storyboard artist. He does it all and amazing work. And this was just a fun project, and I really liked working with him. And I wish him well with his wedding and everything. So
Yeah. He hasn't gotten married yet?
not yet. That's going to be next year. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Great. Danny, how about you? Any last words?
I just want to say that I'm very grateful with the talent that was part of it. I think the film really works because of them. I
Yeah.
think it could have been a novela if it was because of, I don't know, like they
Yeah,
really
no,
really
your
brought
lead actress is
real-
wonderful. Your lead, you know, if I had more time, I could go on about the performances. Your lead actress was nailed it. She's great.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm just thankful that everybody brought their A game because I think it makes me look so good. So yeah, I'm just thankful with everybody involved and the talent in it.
Right on. Jeffrey, how about you? Any parting words? Last words?
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, no one makes a film by themselves. I got a fantastic crew. Very proud to have worked with them. They made all the difference in the world in bringing my idea to life. I always consider it our film. And I have to, particularly in the post process, we have no dialogue in our film. So you can imagine music was very important, sound was important, and making sure we had the cuts just right. So very blessed and very thankful that I work with fantastic people, and
Right on.
I'm thankful for all the accolades we've gotten on the film so far.
Right on. Yeah, congrats. Peter, go next, please.
Yeah, definitely. I got to thank Miho and Mathieu for bringing the characters to life. Melissa, my co-writer, for crafting the story, making it better. Safdar, our producer in India, he was just amazing, hands down. Got us, the best crew. Got us all the locations. I mean, a waterfall, a temple, a church. The Indian countryside. Sean, my cinematographer, he came up with amazing images. Alec, my editor, Jeffrey, my producer, the stateside, dealing with SAG-AFTRA. He really helped that process through. I couldn't have
Right
gotten.
on. I'm gonna play you off with the music here because we don't
Okay, thank you.
your whole credits. Miho, you want to add any party words?
No, just appreciation, really, that I was able to be part of this.
Right on. Yeah, we appreciate your performance too. Good job. TJ, any last words? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, just thank you in general. Yeah, it's an honor to play at SF Shorts, and we set out to create something to, I hope that it resonated and provoked a feeling in the audience. So,
It
we're
sure
glad,
did.
and it's
Sure
very
did.
inspiring hearing
It
from,
wouldn't be here if it didn't.
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of a nice declaration of, and it's inspiring hearing everyone, speak and learning to get to know you. It's great. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Stay connected outside the Zoom. Hey, John, you want to add any final thoughts?
Yes, I gotta unmute myself. Yeah, I also just thanks.
Keep
I'm
your
really
camera a little
happy to.
stable. It's a little shaky.
Yeah, sorry, I've got it on my lap. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'll
it
hold
looks
still.
like you're in a storage room too. Where are you? Don't answer that.
I'm at work. I'm working on a TV show, and so I'm in some props department. I don't know.
Real quick, any
just an
final
empty room.
thoughts?
Yeah, sorry. I just want to say thanks too. I'm really happy that people are watching the film. I'm also one of the things that I was wanting to do was show this neighborhood that I've been living in for the last 10 years in Berlin, and I think it's just a really special place. And so that if that connects with people or that people can kind of see that, I'm really happy. So really appreciate you picking the film.
Yeah, appreciate your film. Thank you. Zoe, you want to go next? Any last words?
I mean, same as everybody else. As a first timer, I wasn't sure what to expect, but the cast and crew were fantastic and were helpful and supportive and could not have asked for better. Very grateful.
Right on. Thank you, Zoe. Last but not least, Evan.
Well, I got to thank my wife for pushing me to make this movie and believing we could do it. The crew we had, wonderful producers, and it was very inspiring to work with collaborators who care about the art form in a time when I feel like making genuine creative art that is challenging or asks you to think beyond, you know, what basic content is rare. So, and for everybody here too as well, it's like great that people still want to do that. And thank you for the SF Shorts for having us. It's an honor to be here.
Back at you. Thank all of you, not only for submitting to our film festival, being our film festival, for finishing your films, making short films. Well done. Congratulations to all of you. Folks, that's all the time we have. Thanks for watching another Q&A for the 2025 San Francisco Independent Short Film Festival. Thanks for Thanks for supporting short independent cinema. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.